welcome to the 6 o'clock briefing for the Oleander incident. Today we have the Unified Command with us behind me. They're going to give you a quick briefing on what has taken place since yesterday. Progress is going to be throughout today. We're going to hold all Q&A until the end. We'll start off with CAL FIRE, Riverside County Fire Department, John Crater, and then we'll go to Riverside County Fire Department, Fire Captain Oscar Torres, CHP EMD Eric Grander, and Sheriff Dave Levere. So we're going to start with Chief Crater, please.
For coming out. I'm John Crater, Division Chief with CAL FIRE Riverside County Fire. We're in Unified Command with CHP and the Riverside County Sheriff's Department. They said 7:41 yesterday received 911 calls of a large plume coming out of Oleander and Harville Avenue. This road car was by one of our prevention officers that was driving through the area and noticed it. The dispatch center and a full hazmat response was sent to the incident. Once we arrived on the chemical that was involved, through our ERG response guide, it was determined we needed to evacuate a half-mile radius, and that included evacuation orders. We brought in our emergency management to assist with getting that message out to the residents. All homes in that half-mile on the road car are evacuated, including businesses. Also, the is shut down, and the 215 freeway is shut down. Product in the rail car is still reacting and gaining heat. This material would stay at about 85 degrees, and currently it is at 300 degrees. So that is the abundance of caution we're taking with this. It's a serious the infrastructure in the area. Initially, the plume that did come on Paris is about a 2-mile spread with the wind and did impact this case. That concludes the report at this time.
Good morning. Oscar Torres, Riverside County Fire Materials Response Team. So the hazardous materials response team came out and a recon of the area. We did find a one-tank car consisting of about 100,000 pounds of styrene that is loaded onto this tank car. We were informed that a release was experienced from this relief valve. The relief valve has reseated, but we are continuing to have a leak from the top portion of the tank. At this point, what we are doing is isolating the area, denying any entry to any people. We're monitoring the temperature of the tank car itself. We are trending in a direction right now where our highest temperature is 323 degrees. We are currently at 304 degrees, so we're hoping that that trend continues so that we can then go in and start some mitigation efforts.
Morning, I'm Sergeant Chuck Murray, Riverside area CHP. The closure we have in effect right now are both directions of Interstate 215, northbound from Ramona Expressway. At Ramona Expressway. Southbound traffic is closed at Cactus. The Harley Knox on-ramps to I-215 north and I-215 southbound are closed as well. Caltrans and CHP are manning the closures, and they will do so throughout the day. The detours we have for now from southbound is to exit at Cactus. The preferred detour would be to proceed east on Cactus to Paris, south on Paris, and Paris to Ramona Expressway back to the 215 freeway where they can re-enter. Northbound traffic, the preferred route would be exiting at Cajalco or Ramona Expressway, proceeding east to Paris, north on Paris to Cactus, and then back west from Cactus to the 215. We do have one closure, main closure here on Harville behind us, between Cajalco and Harley Knox Boulevard.
Good morning. My name is Eric Cadden. I'm with Riverside County Emergency Management Department. I'm the Emergency Management Program Supervisor. During the evacuations, we were able to provide a shelter. The shelter is located at Pennicata Middle School. The address there is 1990 South A Street in the city of Paris. We do have residents there at this time. We'd also like to thank our partners, DPSS and Red Cross, for helping us set up the shelter there. Thank you.
Good morning, Assistant Sheriff Dave Lillivere, Riverside County Sheriff's Department. We were charged with handling evacuations early this morning. We evacuated approximately 170 residences. We continue to have our resources from nearby patrol stations as well as our Special Enforcement Bureau to stay mobile and continue to evacuate as necessary. At this time, we've evacuated approximately a half-mile radius, and we'll continue to maintain public safety at any cost. Thank you.
So that's kind of a quick update for now. We'll take some questions at this time.
Conclusion, is there an ETA then? It sounds like not on when this would be resolved.
I've been on the phone with experts all night from Florida to Texas. What they're telling me is this can resolve itself in 2 days. It could get worse before it gets better. And they've also said due to the heat building in the car, that builds pressure, and it could have a release, meaning some sort of violent explosion. So that's why we're taking abundance of caution with this. We're still in a pretty critical situation. Talking to most of the experts that I've talked to through the night, this hasn't been experienced in quite some time, and it's rare. So we're kind of in uncharted territories with this, but 2 to 3 days is the time frame that I've received.
And a follow-up to that, the way you described it, so we can't see it. You're not approaching, people aren't going towards the rail car, correct? Can you describe that situation?
Right now, it's too dangerous to get close to it. We've been flying our drones to get video footage all night, and the rail car is in the FLIR footage is red hot. So it's too dangerous for us to take any mitigation efforts or even approach it at this time.
Was the train stopped at the time?
Yeah, this location is for businesses that deal in this kind of chemical, and it's a spur rail that basically runs between the businesses off the main tracks. They offload the chemical into the business to make their products, so it was stopped.
What is the chemical?
Chemical is known as styrene. It is a product that is used to make foam products for commercial purposes.
So it'll take 2 to 3 days for it to cool down, the temperature on that rail car, and then start the mitigating process, or would it take 2 to 3 days, the entire situation, entire effort?
So we're not completely familiar. Right now what we're trying to track is the trend of the temperature that's happening with the rail car. Once we start seeing that rail car is actually cooling, what that tells us is the chemical reaction that's happening in that car is actually now starting to solidify, which is the trend that we want to see happen. Right now what we are seeing is that's where we're headed towards. Again, the temperature that we are reading is not 100% because we're taking it at an elevation of 100 feet above the tank car. but that's where we're maintaining our temperature readings. And while we're doing that, we are trending in a positive direction right now.
Do we have any further questions at this time? If not, these gentlemen will be available to you after the briefing to do one-on-one interviews. So that would include the briefing at this time. Thank you.
It may be redundant. Does the heat of the day coming, will that impact it?
So yes, that is a concern today, which is again why we're monitoring the temperature very closely. We want to see if the heat of the day is going to start making an impact on raising those temperatures back up. That's going to again dictate how much longer this is going to take.
Is there any sort of precedent for when these things do explode, and like what would the radius be? Because obviously you have the half-mile radius, but like there's some structures nearby as well.
So per the safety guidelines that we're operating under on the emergency response guidelines, half mile is recommended distance to stay away. Given the so many different factors that can affect a violent release, that it's dependent on weather, it's dependent on the actual construction of the rail car. That can all have impacts on how it's affected. Plus the surrounding cars that are around this rail car itself. There's a lot of different factors that dictate what else gets affected.
Sorry for the added questions, and again, if it's redundant, we don't know how it started leaking.
We have no idea. That's correct.
Is that rail car and the others separated? Are they taped off? What's the situation there?
So they are in a gated area. It's a secure location. We have made access for fire department personnel to be able to access the area, but it is behind a gated area.
Was it a full tank, do you know, or?
Yes, it is a full tank.
And then did the does the chemical damage the track at all that's been leaking, or is it just kind of like resin?
So it is a resin. It's a very thick resin, so we're not expecting a very. If this is a violent release, we're not expecting anything that would be such as a comparison to a propane tank release. This is somewhat different. It would still be a violent release, just wouldn't gauge it to that extreme.
All right, thank you again, and these gentlemen will be available to you guys afterwards. Thank you.
Spanish speaking?
We'll check on it for you.
Well, hold on, I'm gonna get a shot of that picture. Okay.